You guys clearly love Fallout 4's unmarked locations, but of course there were some that we couldn't cover. That includes the Far Harbor DLC and the Nuka World DLC. Both locations have some secrets for us to uncover, and that's what I plan to show you today. If you're not in the know, unmarked locations are locations that don't have a marker on the Pip-Boy map. Why the location should have a marker, you ask? Well, usually the location has a name that is data mined through the Fallout 4 files, and Bethesda just decided not to add it to the map. Or fans find these places significant enough that it should warrant a marker. Some I agree with, and others I don't. It's up to the beholder. So I'll skip a few of the unnecessary ones. Trust me, I've done this a time or two. Also, you guys smashed the subs on the Fallout 4 locations video specifically. I've never seen the number so high. Thank you guys. If you could leave a like on this vid, it also helps the video out a ton. I'd appreciate it. Let's start with Far Harbor. By the way, these DLCs don't have a ton of official unmarked locations, as you can see. A lot of them seem to be historical landmarks or geographical locations, like the Atlantic Ocean, the Acadia National Park, or Cranberry Island, which has locations on it that are marked. Anyway, I'll cover the ones that I can, and I also did a little more diving into some Easter eggs or cool little spots you can find, and I'll show you those as well. These are the buildings in the town located near Far Harbor, or part of it. I included it because I think it has an interesting backstory. It was once a bustling tourist spot in Maine's Down East region. It lies close to Acadia National Park, home to Cadillac Mountain, the tallest peak along the eastern seaboard within 25 miles of the coast. Before the devastating fire of 1947, the town thrived as a summer retreat for the wealthy elite. After World War II, it suffered from the effects of salvage operations, the reoccurring fog, and monstrous creatures. The decline was worsened by the collapse of the Bar Harbor Bridge, which cut off the island from the mainland. Today, the town's boardwalk hosts the only active community left, known as Far Harbor, perhaps named so due to the faded B on the old sign resembling an F. A lot of landslides have buried most of what used to be Bar Harbor, but time in itself has brought the most devastation. Little fun fact, in Fallout 76 in Berkeley Springs, you can find a sign that advertises Far Harbor. The Bar Harbor Museum is found close to the settlement of Far Harbor. It was once a popular museum in the town. The museum is known for its past issues with vandalism, especially targeting the Vim machines, a problem that seemed to be widespread across the island. Despite efforts to catch the vandal, the museum staff never succeeded, although they did discover that a similar issue plagued Beaver Creek Lanes. Who the Vim vandal was is a whole other story. Maybe I'll cover it in another video. It is pretty interesting. To reach the museum, you have to travel just past the Super Duper Mart occupied by trappers. A short driveway opposite a bus stop leads from the main road to the property. And here's what you'll find. West of the museum, there's a yellow wooden crate next to a cannon, 2 rowboats, and a dry dock trawler. North of the property, a small pier extends into the water, holding another cannon and a red steamer trunk, possibly containing some okay loot. East where the museum stands, or rather what remains of it, the building is severely damaged, but you'll find a Coast Guard hat near a broken terminal on a desk, an advanced lock safe, and a basket with 3 cannonballs, which gives us a little more history about this place. Find this, head behind a fuel station southeast of the Radiant Crest Shrine, where you'll spot a hatch with a novice lock. Once you're inside, you're greeted by a small basement room packed with useful amenities. There's a chemistry station where players can work on determining the recipe for Vim Captain's blend, a terminal loaded with notes about sabotage activities, a weapons workbench for modifying your gear, and a firing range to hone those shooting skills. This setup suggests it was once used for nefarious activities related to the Vim distribution. Inside, you'll find some loot. 2 bottles of Vim's Captain's Blend, one on the chemistry station and another on a nearby console, and a missile launcher with 2 missiles lying on a table by the firing range. This place was originally owned by Aubrey Copeland, but now feral ghouls might be lurking around. Copeland has something to do with the Vim Vandal, which like I said, I'll cover at another time. Not to blue ball you guys, but mostly because it's a long story and we have a lot more locations to go. Kawaketak Station was once serving as a pre-war campsite. Its existence is hinted at by a banner that would guide visitors from Bar Harbor through state routes 233 and 102E. The area consists of 3 cabins located east of the Children of Adam Shrine. However, only 1 cabin is accessible. The other 2 are securely boarded up. This open cabin hosts a small abandoned camp. It mostly contains a bunch of pre-war junk, including 2 wrecked cars, a heap of tires, and various other pieces of debris. As far as loot goes, there's basically nothing here. Well, not nothing. You'll find a pack of wolves prowling around. So I guess that's something. I was debating on adding this one because it's connected to a major quest, but it's still an interesting little spot. If you follow the road southwest from Echo Lake Lumber, you'll come across an intriguing scene. A wrecked Vim truck with its rear wheels mired in a pond right next to a drainage pipe. This pipe isn't just a piece of scenery, it serves as an entrance to a hidden location. Inside the pipe, you'll encounter a feral ghoul, but more importantly, there's a locked entrance to a pump control. To access this, you'll need the worn key, which presumably you'd have to find somewhere else. It's part of the quest that we spoke about earlier. Once inside the pump control, you'll find yourself in a small room with mild radioactivity. This space is pretty minimalistic, featuring only a bed and a shrine. The room was a hideout of Confessor Martin, a used-to-be member of the Children of Adam. The shrine holds a ton of notes and holotapes about the Children of Adam and the Confessor. The Rope Bridge complex is located northeast of the nucleus. The complex is situated along a north-south road that slices through the mountain terrain. A rope bridge ingeniously attached to a utility pole spawns a crevasse directly over this road, providing a passage above. Around this bridge, you'll find 3 wooden shacks, 2 positioned to the east and 1 to the west. These structures house basic amenities like a sleeping bag and 2 mattresses, indicating they've been used for habitation. Additionally, there's an abandoned tent set up near the water to the south-southwest of the complex. This area has seen its share of control by different groups. Originally, it was occupied by the Children of Adam, as evidenced by their remnants and decorations still present. With the presence of the dead Children of Adam bodies and their artifacts, I think it's safe to assume that the changing of guard took place, so to speak. That's it for the official unmarked locations for Far Harbor from the Wiki. Yeah, not the most profound stuff, but don't worry. Like I said, I did some more digging and I found some more interesting stuff. Running across this spot is highly unlikely, given its obscure placement. Located southwest of the Fringe Cove docks, there's an unassuming boat that holds a little secret. On this boat, you'll find an unlocked safe. Inside, you can loot some ammunition and some other minor loot. But what makes this spot truly unique is what lies beneath the boat. There sits a teddy bear perched atop a cannon. Fallout and teddy bears are a thing, in case you didn't know. Tons of Easter eggs feature these little guys. Adjacent to this setup, there's a box of cannonballs, which is especially useful for players wielding the broadsider, a weapon that uses these for ammunition. In the water southwest of Fringe Cove docks, not far from the teddy bear on the cannon, is a creepy sight known as the Mannequin ship. This ship is almost entirely underwater, and it's crewed by mannequins, creating an eerie feeling that might remind some players of the unsettling atmospheres found in games like BioShock. The dead-eyed mannequins feel as if at any moment they might animate and lurch forward. While there's some loot to be found directly on the ship, the area's true treasure lies in the nearby shipping container. Inside this container, you'll find not just another mannequin, but also a few gold bars. These gold bars are worth a pretty penny, or cap, so I would recommend checking this one out for sure. At the southeastern edge of the map, there's a spot just beyond the visible world boundary. To reach this location, start by heading southeast from the Harbor Grand Hotel. Keep moving into the water until you reach the point where the game indicates you're at the edge of the world map, then dive underwater. Once underwater, if you're in the right spot, you'll notice a crashed vertibird on the sea floor. Near this wreckage, on the side of a hill, there's a cave entrance. Inside the cave, you'll find a suit of T-51 power armor displayed upright. However, you can't actually access this. To do so, it requires installing a mod that removes the map's boundary restrictions. But if you do, not only can you claim the power armor, but you'll also find the area around it strewn with fusion core modules, making it a valuable find. Why the devs left this juicy morsel perfectly out of reach? No one knows. Maybe they intended to extend the map's borders at some point, and they forgot. Or they left it just out of reach to torture us. That pretty much does it for Far Harbor. By the way, the ocean and water areas are filled with all types of small Easter eggs like these ones. Bethesda really loves their skeleton jokes. Anyways, let's move on to Nuka World. Much, and I mean much, of the locations on the wiki for this place are just buildings that you can find in the main locations. Not exactly secret or all that interesting. I'll skip most of those for you guys, unless it's something really hidden. This is a vast, barren expanse that once might have been productive but now stands as another example to the neglect of the wasteland. You can reach this by traveling a short distance east from the Hobologist camp. You'll find 2 houses and a garage marking the western side of this plot. The southern house offers little in terms of shelter or supplies, with just a refrigerator inside. Outside, a makeshift fireplace with a Diamond City radio sets up a lonely scene. Nearby, you'll find 3 silos, a tractor, and a large piece of yellow machinery. Oh, and a couple of carrots. The northern house is decorated with light chains, and it has a bit more to it. The first floor holds minor junk items, while upstairs you'll find a crib and a bottle of whiskey. Behind the house, a small field with 5 corn plants and 1 razor grain plant attempts to reclaim the land, accompanied by a bell and a doghouse. The garage contains a rusted car and 3 cabinets. A dirt road stretches east towards Nuka Station, and another runs north, connecting the houses and leading to a toxic dump. Along these paths, several half-sunken vehicles litter the landscape, and the presence of dead Brahmin and non-functional water pumps, along with 2 windmills, all of it adding together to create a feeling of despair and emptiness. It gives Children of the Corn vibes. I don't like it. This small cave is located northeast of the Safari Adventure Reptile House, and it's divided into 2 distinct areas. Upon entering through the cave's main entrance, you'll find yourself in a cavern area, and you'll be a first-hand witness to an intense battle between a gator claw and a yaoguai. The second entrance is accessed via a ground hatch. This section of the cave leads to what was once a maintenance area. This part was utilized by park employees before the Great War. The area is separated from the southern cavern by a cage door. Here you'll also find a terminal with several historical log entries that provide insight into the park's operations before the apocalypse. Within the cave, particularly near the cage door separating the 2 sections, there's a wooden cart holding a Nuka-Cola lunchbox and a bottle of Nuka-Cola Dark. The Cappy and Bottle Shrine is located behind a large brown billboard northwest of Dry Rock Gulch in the exterior of Nuka World. The shrine features an old Cappy and bottle sculpture, surrounded by heads on pikes, 5 human skulls, and offerings including 2 Nuka-Cola Dark and 2 cap stashes. The site also contains 2 chairs, 2 stools, and an expert lock safe. I wonder what kind of cult or goofballs decided to make these guys their idols. The dead-end houses are found directly north of the Nuka-Cola bottling plant's back entrance, and northwest of the Nuka World Red Rocket. This location comprises 3 dilapidated houses along a dirt road. The eastern house is almost entirely buried, with most of its walls gone. You'll find a dryer and a doghouse here. The western house features a rusted picker-up truck partially sunk near the porch. There's a master lock safe hidden behind some of the bushes under the staircase. The northern house at the road's end has a porch with a patio table. The backyard contains 3 corn plants and a picnic table with a lunch pail, potentially serving as a spot for random encounters like Brahmaluffs or settlers defending against bloodworms. The Distiller Shack lies hidden in the hills just south of Morton Residence. This area is made up of 2 recreational vehicles and a makeshift shack with a roof. Both RVs are inoperable. One has been flipped over with a tree now sprouting from it, and the other is cluttered with tires, making it inaccessible. The ground around the shack is scattered with bones and overgrown with wild vines, though only 1 vine, located just south of the shack, can be harvested for resources. To the northwest, past the shack, you'll find a chemistry station and a novice lock chem cooler on a rickety table. Nearby, an expert lock safe sits behind an overturned Corvega Blitz. Inside the central shack, there are wooden barrels, a brewing vat, and an ammo box. Also, the sight of a headless skeleton is suspended from the roof. Then you'll find a small triangular hut adjacent to the table that houses a mattress and a master-locked floor safe. The roof of the shack can be reached by using a makeshift walkway that starts behind the RV filled with the tires. The Hangar camp is positioned to the east of Nuka World Junkyard and just south of the entrance of the Galactic Zone. This spot features a solitary hangar shack situated by a river. The back of the shack is open, directly facing the water, with 2 rowboats moored beside a small fallen pier. The area around the camp is alive with flora, including tarberry, hubflower, and carrot flower plants. Outside the shack near the entrance, you'll find a cooking station for preparing meals. There's also an explosives box located on a wooden walkway near one of the rowboats, so make sure you pick that up. Inside the hangar, the setup is modest yet functional. 3 mattresses on the ground providing sleeping arrangements, a duffel bag next to the 3 metal barrels suggests storage for personal items, and a first aid box next to the 2 wooden crates offering medical supplies. Also, there's an armor workbench that is present. The camp is scattered with various junk, food, and aid items, making it a decent spot for scavenging. Be aware though that this location might host a random encounter, potentially involving creatures like cave crickets or flying ants, and you might stumble upon the bodies of settlers who have met an unfortunate end. The Little Nuka gift shop is found in Bradburton near Nuka World. It was once a bustling spot for tourists looking to grab a piece of Nuka-Cola memorabilia before the Great War. The gift shop, although not part of the main park, was officially sanctioned by the Nuka-Cola Corporation. Here, visitors could find items like Cappy ashtrays and candy cigarettes, with the shop's employees well versed in the latest promotional deals, including discounts on park tickets for substantial merchandise purchases. Unique to this location, it did not participate in the park's bottle return discount program, instead directing customers to the park gates for those deals. The shop owners even utilized adjacent land for parking, charging an hourly fee with a policy absolving them of vehicle-related liabilities. Inside, the shop retains its theme with Nuka World and Nuka-Cola branding everywhere. But now it's a place of decay and danger. On the first floor, a novice lock terminal sits at the counter, and an expert locked wall safe is hidden behind it. You'll also find some skeletons on the floor next to some blood. Maybe the workers here died by looters or something. The first floor is cluttered with Nuka-Cola items all scattered across the ground in shelving units. Access to the second floor is possible by the staircase or through a collapsed section of the floor that acts as a ramp. The shop is filled with feral ghouls, so keep an eye out. The Northwest Maintenance buildings sit just northwest of the Galactic Zone. This area features 2 maintenance sheds that can be entered, accompanied by a small parking lot. A short driveway leads from the sheds to the main road, with a ticket booth positioned nearby. The surroundings include several abandoned vehicles. Outside the sheds in the parking lot, there's a well-stocked Nuka-Cola machine attached to the southern shed's exterior wall, and a lunch pail resting on a nearby picnic table. This shed has several shelves, a novice lock tool chest, an advanced lock foot locker, a wooden crate, and a first aid box for supplies or emergencies. A small office space in the southeastern corner contains a radio, a stash of caps on a shelf, and a cooler next to the trash can. The southern shed is more extensively furnished with shelves that hold a foot locker, an explosives box, a metal box, and a large toolbox, suggesting it was used for more intensive maintenance or storage. An advanced locked floor safe is cleverly hidden between 2 desks, one of which is tipped over. The southwestern corner hosts 2 restrooms, and in front of these, a file cabinet drawer on the floor contains several chems. The Placard building sits at the end of the road leading east from Nuka Station, a 3-story structure with its northern part half sunken into the ground. The entrance features a faded, unreadable placard, giving the building its name. Nearby, a rusted blue Atomic V8 car is parked, and the area around is littered with half-sunken vehicles and a stone pedestal to the north. On the south side, you'll find a fountain with 2 skeletons seated on benches beneath it. Inside, the first floor is filled with empty shelves and display cases, along with a desk where a typewriter sits, suggesting it was once used for some form of record-keeping or display. Moving upstairs, the second floor shows signs of collapse, with non-interactable hospital beds present, hinting at a past medical use or perhaps a makeshift shelter. Access to the third floor is blocked by collapsed stairs and wooden boxes. This location can host a scripted encounter where either gunners or super mutants may occupy the building. Upon your approach, 5 Nuka World raiders, either from the Disciples, Operators, or the Pack, will rush towards the building, leading to a battle with the existing occupants. If the raiders emerge victorious and survive, they'll stay at the Placard building indefinitely, unless killed by the player or other enemies later on. The pool house, found off the beaten path in Nuka World, lies down a dirt road branching from the main road south of the Red Rocket Station. This was a once luxurious 3-story house, and it's now in severe disrepair, with a swimming pool that's seen better days located behind it. The first floor remains somewhat intact, offering an armor workbench and a cooking station, useful for any traveler needing to repair their gear or prepare food. The second floor is sparsely furnished with just a dresser, and the third floor is completely devoid of any items, possibly stripped or left untouched post-war. The swimming pool, now mostly drained, presents a interesting sight with a small whirlpool section on its southern side, adorned with a mannequin. Yes, more of these guys. And then you have a water cistern to the north, suggesting it was once part of a well-maintained estate or a vacation home. The Red Tent Camp is just northeast of the power plant. The camp is noticeable by its bright red tent fabric, making it visible from a distance. Surrounding the camp, you'll find the debris of various rides from nearby amusement parks, with one attraction, a rocket, remaining in relatively good condition. The camp itself is set up under a patio umbrella, providing shade and a gathering spot. Here you'll find 3 mattresses possibly occupied by the bodies of settlers, indicating that this spot might have been someone's last refuge. Then you'll find a Nuka-Cola lunchbox, a duffel bag, and then a variety of Nuka-Cola flavors that are stored in a wooden beer crate, including Nuka Grape, Nuka-Cola Quartz, Nuka-Cola Victory, and Nuka-Cola Wild. Reservoir houses are along the western shore of the river, just south of the North Point Reservoir in Nuka World. This spot comprises 2 small structures, but you can only enter the northern house. The northern house is surrounded by 2 rusted vehicles in its parking lot. A restricted area sign is posted near the east entrance, suggesting it was once an area with controlled access or importance. Inside, the house is filled with desks, indicating that it might have served as an office or an administrative building before the war struck. The southern house, however, is sealed off. Its garage door is blocked by the earth that has risen around it. This location is linked to the dam by an off-ramp descending to the water, though it's potentially risky due to the presence of mirelurks. East of the houses, a set of stone stairs leads down to the water where 2 rowboats are tied to a wooden pier, allowing for water exploration or escape if needed. This one is quick, but also deadly if you decide to check it out. Located in the hills west of the Nuka World junkyard, the area consists of 6 nests. A total of 5 Stingwings protecting the hives can potentially be encountered in the vicinity. You'll also find some trader's dead body nearby with some loot on it. The toxic dump can be found southeast of the hobologist camp and south of the abandoned farmland. It has a shed with one open side positioned beside a small, highly irradiated pond. You can get here by a dirt road that links to the main road in the southwest and extends north towards the abandoned farmland. At the site, there's a red tractor with a skeleton still attached, hooked to a half-sunken rusted picker-up truck via a tow winch, suggesting some form of an accident or abandonment was in progress. Inside the shed, you can find a tool chest and a wooden crate. The pond and the shed are littered with radioactive barrels, which emit up to 15 rads per second, making the area extremely dangerous for prolonged exposure. This one is actually pretty unique. The TV tree is north of Dry Rock Gulch and west of Safari Adventure. It features a large tree adorned with an array of broken televisions and terminals. It's strange, with televisions suspended from its upper branches by metal rods and additional TVs and terminals scattered on its lower limbs in the surrounding ground. The tree trunk itself is decorated with metal star ornaments, almost like a ritual site or something. Around the tree, you can find several Nuka-Cola variants. There's one Nuka-Cola Quantum on a television hanging on the northern side of the tree, and 3 more bottles of Nuka-Cola Quantum, a Nuka-Cola Dark, and a Nuka-Cola Quartz are located within broken terminals on the ground. What do you guys think of this place? Raiders just having some fun? Ritual site? Something else? Pretty cool nonetheless. Let's cap the vid off with a funny one. Cap? Get it? The world's largest fire hydrant stands as a colossal pre-war sculpture, located in the parking lot of the hobologist camp. This was crafted by Thomas Denton III. This 250-ton, 30-foot tall art piece was designed with durability in mind, purportedly able to withstand both a tornado and, in a somewhat ironic twist of fate, a nuclear apocalypse. A claim that has been proven true given its presence right here. Funnily enough, the concept for this fire hydrant is inspired by a real-world counterpart, the world's largest working fire hydrant, originally constructed at Disneyland for promotional purposes, related to the movie 101 Dalmatians, and later donated to the Fire Museum of Texas. Before you click off, just know that I appreciate you specifically for watching this all the way through. And also, I plan on covering all the DLC in New Vegas and Fallout 3, so make sure you sub so you don't miss those. Remember guys, enjoy time is never wasted time, and I'll see you in the next.